All right, should be live at this point. How's it going, everybody? This is the Osmo.com NHL DFS strategy show. It is a Tuesday edition. We've got a lot of games to talk through, so we'll go through and talk about the stuff we have to offer for free. Talk about a free promo code, free trial. If you guys saw that in your emails, go check that out. NHL Free Week is the promo code. I'm joined by Nolan Kelly today. Nolan, how you doing?
It's a downgrade from Slim Cliffy, but we'll make do. No. That was a great show yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah, I think we got pretty good viewership, and for a short slate, that's all you can ask for. The slate did not work out for, I don't think, a lot of us, me included. So we'll talk about that in lineup study once we get to that. We are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, as always. Just want to give a quick... Oh, I'm not logged in on Yahoo. But anyways, I won't log in front of you guys as much as maybe some of you would like to steal the little amount of money I have in my Yahoo account. Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, lower management fees, a lot less strong competition. Like, you're not going to see all the pros going and playing over there if they're playing a ton of volume on the two main sites. You're not going to get a lot of like the Osmo type players. I know he does play over there some, but you're not going to get a lot of the big name pros. So I think Yahoo is a great place to play. 250K baller this week, all the normal stuff. It's a great place to play daily fantasy. I know, Nolan, you've had a lot of success playing over on Yahoo, and I've been playing a lot of NFL over there. So that's kind of been my main sport.
Yeah, it's fun. I like their NFL setup for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have line changes out? Because that is actually
just published.
Okay, cool. That is free today. I don't know if you've changed it.
Make that free.
But yeah,
1 sec while you're talking, I'll fix it.
Yeah, if you want to make that free, I will pull that up right now. I've got the link, and I will post it right in YouTube chat if you guys want to see, another feature that we have along with the projections, ownership projections. Nolan does this line change article where he kind of breaks down anything that we should expect as far as changes, anything that maybe some of the lineup sites didn't catch that you could take advantage of. And he breaks it down: big news, medium news, and then the little news. So lots of
stuff. Sometimes not today, not too much, but sometimes like a lot of these line sites will just not have updated properly what's going on, and then that would make the lines wrong in Fantasy Cruncher. So it kind of gives you a bit of an edge of if some on the odd occasion they get things wrong, it can provide an advantage on the field, I'd say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, a number of times it has for me. And if you're short on time and you don't have time to grind through all the news on Twitter and stuff, this is a great article where you could read in 5-10 minutes and make a couple adjustments if you need to, or at least have that peace of mind that everything looks good to go and you shouldn't be surprised by anything. So great article for a number of reasons. One article I always read every single day, and I probably would even if I wasn't working here. So what else do we got here? When the NBA survey comes out, it's called the NBA strategy syllabus. I think I had the one pulled up from yesterday. I don't know if they've released the one for today, but that's sort of a survey from all of our top analysts, asking them, certain questions of the night, hot topics, and that'll be free today. So if you're playing NBA, I think it's a 6-game slate. Feel free to go check that out. That will be free once it is posted. Just giving away stuff. Speaking of that, NHL Free Week, again, is the promo code. That'll get you a free week. You will not be billed for 7 days. You can cancel at any time if you want. But if you do stick around, premium Slack, projections, Draftkings ownership projections, which we've been referencing and having a lot of fun with, just from general talking points, as well as identifying the chalk and maybe lines that are going under own. That will be included. And then Nolan's line change article as well. So lots of good stuff, and you can try it out for free for a full week. So if you take advantage today, you would get, like 3 big slates and a bunch of other smaller ones, so you kind of see both sides of it. But no real reason to not take advantage of it, honestly, because it is free and you can cancel whenever you want. Okay.
100%.
What's that?
Said 100%.
Yeah. All right, let's look at last night. As much as I don't want to,
I've just erased it from my brain.
Yeah, that was a close the laptop night early for me. Looks like let's see. the Czech 182. I think this guy is that the guy that won the million a couple weeks ago on DraftKings. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think so. What? How do you spell his name? I can't see the screen.
The Czech, Chek 182. I believe that is the guy that just won the million.
I think you're right.
A couple weeks ago. So congrats to him. I see him sometimes in Manny Laura's from FC his chat sometimes during his Twitch stream. So I believe this is the same guy. Anyways, took it down with 100 lineups, cash 36. Number one lineup was a little bit of an unconventional Ottawa stack. So he had Boston 1. Okay, Boston 1 nukes the slate once again. Nothing new there. His defenseman didn't do much of anything. And Ottawa was popular, but he just kind of had the best combination with the correlated goalie, Anders Nilsson. So it was actually Pajot. Okay, so he was on line 1. Ennis, I believe, was on line 3. And then Nemesnikov was centering line 2 in pregame skate. So he had Ottawa guys from 3 different lines. I don't think they were listed that way on Daily Faceoff, if I remember correctly. But anyways, just got the nut combo, 20 plus points from each of those guys. That's going to help when all your forwards go for 20, except for Patrice Bergeron, but he got the empty net. Got you there late. So that's what you get when you play Boston 1. Not only do you have a chance for them to be awesome at 5-on-5, shorthanded goals, empty net goals, like all that's in play when you have a line that.
Was that Boston and Ottawa one? Those were stackable together, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially the way he did it. So if you would have gone Pajot with Tkachuk and I'm blanking on who Duclair, I don't think you could have fit it in really well. But Ennis was 31, and then Nemesnikov was only 43. So you're essentially, I think Tkachuk was like 62. So you're just saving $1,900 going down from Tkachuk to Nemesnikov, and I think Duclair was super cheap as well. So saving on a couple of your forward spots. Pajot scored twice. Like everything went right for him in this lineup. So congrats to him. Other guys that are notable, Laker Great was almost there late. And then let's see, what else do we got? Dollar Bill. See a couple of guys that usually max enter DFS teams. That's Drewby, and then Slewfoot, 50 and 60 lineups. So I wonder, I'm going to pay attention to that on the next couple short slates. We've got some, I think tomorrow and Friday are pretty short slates. So I want to see if that's becoming more of a trend where these high volume guys, these guys that normally max enter stuff, are kind of limiting their entry fees on shorter slates. So that was the only thing weird that I noticed. Basically, I think if you stacked even strength line combinations last night, you probably didn't do that great if you multi-entered in mass multi-entry tournaments. Sometimes that's the nuts. Oftentimes it's on bigger slates. I did a lot of 3-2-1. I saw a lot of 3-2-1 from players I really respect. So, it just didn't work out if you did the even strength line stacking, even with Boston 1. So I don't know. Do you got anything else on this slate?
No, it's pretty gross. I just kind of tuned out as soon as it all went down there. So
yeah, me too. I mean, and I had a bunch of Boston 1, but just couldn't get the second combo.
Yeah. I went because I was trying to get away from the chalky combos of like Boston 1 and Ottawa 1. Went with a lot of Boston 2 actually, and those ended up being my best lineups, but not great.
Yeah, I had some unconventional like 5-man forward Boston stacks that did okay. I think I don't even know if I got one in the top 100, to be honest. So I'm trying to scroll through and find myself, and I can't even do that. So that's pretty embarrassing.
It happens.
But yeah, whatever. I don't think you can learn a lot from my lineups last night, anyways. So, just didn't work out for us, for a bunch of us. But congrats to the Czech and Laker Great and Dollar Bill with their unconventional stacks near the top. All right, let's go through 11 games. We can do this. What do we got? 47 minutes or so till we're supposed to get out of here. So let's start with Carolina and Philadelphia. 3.3 implied total for the Hurricanes. 3.2 for the Flyers. Peter Mrazek and Carter Hart in net here. Mrazek is not confirmed. Hart is confirmed. Any changes we should expect?
I think just on the Carolina side of things, Eric Halla is out, and Lucas Wallmark is going to be on the third line with Zingle and Nishish. Never gonna
Cliffy
say it right.
knows, but I forgot,
I
so
know
I don't want to butcher it.
Cliffy said it properly. Nikash.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, I'm done embarrassing myself. Yeah, so that's it. Just Walmart Tingle Nikas, and then so Gibbons, Hayden Fleury as well on the fourth line, which is a little bit strange. But there we are. That's about it from both of these sides as well. Flyers changed up their lines before last game in the pregame skate with Farabee up on the top line with Giroux and Van Riemsdyk. And if you missed it earlier, Evan Provorov is up on the power play 1 now. Gustus Bear is down on the power play 2. I don't know when that change happened, but it was before last game, I think. So.
I think it was right before last game. Dougie Hamilton at 7K. I mean, kind of some weird pricing here. So everyone's favorite line recently, Carolina 1, is priced way up. Svechnikov playing incredibly well. Aho, a little bit of positive regression lately, and then Foegele up above 3K. I wonder if that line's gonna pop for some people. For me, I think they're going to get matched up against Couturier, Konechny, Lindblom. It sounded like Cliffy thought the same thing in his Power Plays article, which is a free article. You guys want to check that out. And that's just not a matchup I want really anything to do with on an 11-game slate. So I don't know that I'm going to X out the Aho line, but it's really a line I'm trying to avoid unless I, like if I'm comfortable with my exposures elsewhere, you just bet on the talent or the power play getting hot. But the problem with Carolina 1 is that you got Aho on the top unit, Svechnikov on the second, and then Foegele not on a power play. So the power play correlation is really messed up for Carolina. Stahl, Niederreiter, Teravainen, that's going to be a line that probably pops for people with the 3.3 implied total for the Canes. Mm-hmm. But that's another one where they're just not they're not great at finishing. We've seen them be chalk a number of times this season, especially recently because of their pricing. And for the most part, I kind of just like Philadelphia here a little bit, which is weird. I'm usually on the Canes all the time, but I like the Giroux, Farabee, JVR line, full power play correlation there. And I think they're going to get hopefully the better matchups against Carolina depth if the line matching goes the way we expect, even though I understand the Stahl line isn't a great matchup at 5-on-5, but it's mostly the power play correlation that I like for the Giroux line. What do you like here?
Yeah, I don't like much in this game either. I'm certainly not getting to it much in crunches, so just wanted to see what the ownership is looking like. But I totally agree with you. You probably don't want to be targeting these lines or targeting Philadelphia or Couturier line for Philly. The ownership though is pretty low. We have Carolina, the Aho line projected for about 2%. So I mean, I can certainly understand if you do want to get there.
Right.
Computer's just losing it right now. Sorry.
That's all good.
I was just going to look up Sean Couturier as well, because I feel like he's always like at low ownership. He's not a bad option. You're going to have the high Corsi, high danger Carolina team coming in, but if he's low owned, I always like going to him, especially that entire line usually just doesn't get much ownership. They're also really cheap tonight, so not the greatest matchup, but I don't hate going there with a couple, especially if he's gonna see a lot of ice time as well. But yeah, not super excited about this game.
Fair enough. Yeah, weird for a 6.5 total game that we're kind of off of it, and the ownership's kind of low too. So I'll give this one a second look, but right now, from what I'm seeing, I like the Philadelphia side a little bit more. But this is not going to be my most heavily targeted game. Why don't we broadcast on Periscope anymore? That's has to do with streaming 2 different platforms at once. I think we're just it's not set up that way. In MLB season, we can do it because there's only one show going on at a time. NBA and NHL gets a little bit tricky, so that's why. So if you're trying to watch on Periscope or have been lately, that's the reason why. This is really the only place you can catch us for NHL. Any defensemen before we move it on?
What's Provorov at here?
4,900.
That's not bad. I think there's other spots to go though. Like I like Giordano priced up at $1,000 more. So just like looking at some early crunches here. I don't seem to be getting to a lot of him tonight. Looks like more of the like Travis Sanheim, still $3,100 isn't a bad deal. Finally got a goal the other night and I wasn't on him, so that's some serious fun mode. He's getting 20 minutes a game. He gets a decent amount of shots, 2-4-4 in his last 3. So I think like 2 to 4 shots is a good bet. He's got a chance at like 1 to 2 blocks. So he's just too much of a bargain, and I don't really know why his price point is so low. Like it should be coming up to around the $4,000 range.
Yeah, and he was priced up there later in the season. I think he got to maybe $5K last year.
Oh yeah. When like somebody was out and he was like on the top unit, I think, right? But
yeah. I like the Anaheim call at 3,100 for what he is, a punt defenseman with a little bit of upside. Like can put shots on goal and probably get some blocks here. So especially against a team like Carolina that just seems to put up a ton of shot attempts no matter what. All right, Vegas and Columbus, 2.8 implied total for the Golden Knights, 3.3 for the Blue Jackets. Marc-Andre Fleury and Jonas Korpisalo in net here. I think I might have the totals backwards here. I think it's Vegas should be favored in this one, right? Yeah, this is I think I have the totals backwards. I think it's like 3.2, 3.3 to Vegas and 2.7 to 2.8 for Columbus. So flip those around. But anyways, what do we expect here?
Yeah, you are correct there. It looks like Columbus is implied for 2.8, Vegas 3.3. Columbus shuffled around a lot last game, so I'm going to be like in the camp where I'm probably going to be coming in a little underweight on these bargain Columbus Blue Jackets lines, just because I'm worried that this might be like one of those shuffling times. I don't really know what to make of it. Maybe you can give me some insight there if you're in the same boat. But no line had above 13% at 5-on-5 last game, so that takes me off a little bit. And then on the Vegas side of things, we have Cody Egan centering Nosek and Glass. That was the same last game, just that Alex Took is out as well. So not much going on.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to look it up. Was there do you know if there's a reason why they were shuffling so much in Columbus last game?
The Blue Jacket. Yeah, I mean it's just Tortorella, I think.
Yeah, just towards being Barrett's, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of Blue Jackets and crunches though, so it might require like some manual adjustments. Maybe not a lot, but I'm getting a fair amount of the Boone Jenner line and a fair amount of the purely Wall line.
So the Jenner line's gonna pop. And not to say that they're a bad play, but they might get a little bit higher ownership than you would expect on an 11-game slate, just because Jenner's not a $3,400 player, neither is Josh Anderson, and then Foligno gets power play time too. So you're getting that entire line for what is that? Just at 10K. Like that's a really good value if you're looking to play Boston or the Islanders are pretty expensive, or Vancouver or someone like that. Didn't even talk about the Leafs yet. We'll get to them.
1%.
Yeah. So I understand the merit in playing some Jenner line, but I'm going to try to mix it up and get some different combinations when I do get to that line. And they were coming up as one of the better values. So good point to talk about them right away.
Exactly. And like 7% ownership, it's between like San Jose 2 and I think Columbus 3 and maybe like some Chicago 2 that are going to be like the kind of bargain lines that people go to maybe on this slate a little bit. Actually, I don't know what Chicago 2 is at, but those former ones. So, you got to think about how you're going to stack those up. It looks like we got Columbus 3 line projected for about 7%, 5 to 7% ownership.
Yeah, man,
that isn't too bad, really.
I mean, it's just high, right? Like you could find
other stacks like that Stahl line. Yeah. I mean, I guess that Stahl line's better, but that was up at like 15% or something the other night, right? Like it's not the end of the world, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, no. You'd still if you're overweight on that line, I don't think that's bad. I don't think I'm going to be at 5% of that line, just because I'm trying to play it a little bit differently with the ownership projections. And there are, I think, other third lines and second lines in the range of their price that are better, or you could just go more of a balanced approach rather than jamming in a Boston one. But the line, I mean, I'm not getting to any Vegas. Like I haven't played Vegas much at all this season, and like I guess I haven't missed out too much. It seems like they haven't broken the slate that often.
I'm right there with you. I'm like we haven't been on them at all, and I don't I'm just looking at their line. Have their numbers been No,
they've been really good. They've been really good. Like the top 2 lines, right? Those are the ones you want. I mean, when Tuck gets back, then you can start, I think, talking about the third line. But like Carlson, Marchessault, Smith, absolutely nothing wrong with them. Stastny, Pacioretty, Stone. I mean, both are really great lines since they've been put together. And I don't think it's a great spot for Columbus, but I still am getting to more Dubois, Nyquist, Bjorkstrand. I kind of like that line. Just the idea of those three guys together. You get a little bit of power play correlation, so you're not dead if Tortorella shakes it up again. The second line, there's Wenberg there. Who knows what they'll do with Milano? He's been demoted a bunch of times since he's started playing for Tortorella. Like, it's just a team that I'm going to try to limit what I'm getting to outside of Werenski and Seth Jones. I like both of those guys once again.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, going back to Vegas, actually, like, they're great. I think they're fine plays here. And let's see what their ownership's at. Just searching for the centers quick. Yeah, they're so low owned, but there's going to be a bunch of lines like that. I still don't even know if they're going to make the cut for me on 150, which sounds ridiculous. Like two of the better lines in hockey. And, you've got a decent 3.3 implied total, and they're not going to be owned. So maybe I force some of them in at the end of my crunch or something like that.
I think it's not a bad idea for sure.
Yeah, and just get like a few shares and different combos, use like 4 or 5 uniques or something like that. I think that's something that I might end up doing because I just don't feel comfortable not having them at low ownership, and they're just so good.
So Vegas one's going to be like under 3% and looks like or under 2% maybe, and like Vegas 2, like just under 2%. That's crazy. Crazy. Sign me up.
The price isn't even that bad for these two lines.
No.
So
no, it's looking like, and we're not. The weird part about this is like we're not seeing like a ton of ownership concentrate on one line in the slate. It's like divided up between like 5 or 6 lines, really, right?
Yeah. So I think there's like a clear top 5, like lines that are, or top like 3 to 5, like lines that are both good value, have the high correlation, and then are like expected to be high paced games. So those being like Winnipeg 1, San Jose. Especially that new top line with LeBanc and Kane, and then the Matthews line as well, Chicago 2. So I think I listed 4 or 5 there. Anyways, those are kind of the group of the top lines, and then if you play anyone else, you're going to be pretty contrarian. So
yeah, exactly, and that's what I kind of like even just like pairing up two of these lines that aren't super overpriced, that are coming in at low ownership. That might be the way to go. Tonight, even though we do have some, even though those lines you listed are in such great spots, so we're pairing one up with a lesser owned line
for sure. All right, Theodore Schmidt, down to 4,700. That seems too cheap. He's going to correlate a little bit better with the Stastny unit if those power plays are correct, or the Stastny line, I should say. So then Schmidt would go better with Vegas 1.
I don't know why. I never get to Theodore.
I think like his numbers have taken a while to catch up. He had that flurry at the end there of last season where he was just nuts for and I think it went into the playoffs for quite a while. Like he was just incredible and playing 22, 25 minutes some nights.
Schmidt looks like he's getting like 23, 24 minutes a game now. Hey? So
yeah,
I think I'd rather go Schmidt.
Not a bad call. I think you can play either one of those guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ottawa and the Islanders. Craig Anderson, Thomas Greiss expected to go 2.5 implied total for the Senators, 3.5 for the Islanders. Sens played last night, got down early against the Rangers, and then just dragged them for the rest of the game, as a lot of teams have done. I was looking at the Sens numbers, just like expected goals wise. Like they're like 50% expected goals, and they're a high-paced team. Both ways, like
fourth in the NHL in expected goals per 60.
So, I think and the Islanders haven't been great this season. Had a nice win against Tampa last week, but they haven't been that impressive. So, first of all, do we see anything different? And then, do you think these price tags for the Isles are warranted, even against Ottawa?
So what do we have here? We got Barzal. Oh my God, man, Barzal at $7,500. That's insane. I don't know what to do about that. I feel like I usually use the Islanders when they're priced down as more of a filler stack. The second line's probably going to go under owned, especially with Brock Nelson that pricey. So this is a pay up to be contrarian spot. Let's take a look at Duchesne's ownership here.
So they're still getting owned.
Yeah.
The total's huge. I get it. This is probably the highest total you're going to see for the Islanders all year. It's a good line. So if the line just didn't have great numbers or whatever, like they hadn't been producing, like they've
Mhm.
had one game where they were very good, and that was last Friday, I believe, in that Tampa game. So maybe they're, it's the start of something new. Bailey with Barzell and Lee, maybe that's going to work out. But like this huge price jump, all of a sudden, I'm only getting to about 5% of Islanders one, and I think that's probably where I'm going to stick. Like I don't really see a reason to go heavily overweight at this price. They haven't really shown me that much, and the ownership's there compared to a bunch of these other lines.
Yeah, makes total sense to me. For changes, I didn't really see anything on the Islanders side. For the Senators side, I'd say just watch line rushes because they did switch things up in line rushes last night. But you never know. It looked like they pretty much stuck with those combos though. So, and coming off a win, I wouldn't expect any major changes. That top line, the Kachuk Pageau Duclair line had about 25% 5-on-5 share, and all the other lines just kind of stuck together. So we could probably expect that. Probably expect the same out of them tonight.
Yep.
Oh wait, I'm seeing Bobby. Bobby. Oh, Bobby Ryan played last night.
He did.
Was he late ad?
No, I think he was supposed to be on the fourth line, but I can't remember whether it was. I can't remember what the lines ended up being.
I'm thinking of 2 games ago. It's all blurring together. I didn't do line changes.
No, that happens. On the Islander side, so I like. It's hard not to like the Islanders top line, but from a value perspective, it's pretty gross, and they're still getting owned. Like I said, so I'm just kind of whatever on the Islanders. They're like wherever I end up on them, I'm gonna be fine with that. Defenseman here, I think on the Islanders side, you've got some pretty decent value. Dobson, Figo's 2,800. Tays, and then Pulock. Who's your favorite out of that group?
I guess I got to go with your boy, right?
Yeah, I think that's the correct answer. So I was just teeing you up
there.
there.
Wait, is Nick Leddy playing?
No Nick Leddy. At least he's not expected to go. He's been out for a couple games.
Yeah.
But
slate breaker Nick Leddy.
Yeah, exactly. Hat trick. Almost the hat trick for Nick Leddy a few weeks ago. Pulock's kind of one of my guys tonight, so I'm going to be pretty heavy on him, even though I'm not playing a ton of Isles 1 or really any of the Isles lines. So
he's been decent. He's not lighting the world on fire. I feel like he's a really good cash game play at that price point for sure. GPP wise, I worry about his upside sometimes. Right, he seems to kind of hover below the he never really seems to get more than 2 shots in a game. Never really eclipses that 20-minute mark. But the price point is so good on him.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned cash too. So the Senators have been good at generating offense. Who knows on the back-to-back, but if they're going to be able to generate some shot attempts, maybe Pulock can continue getting a bunch of blocks, put some shots on goal. They're certainly going to give up a lot of shot attempts, and then you just need a point or two, and you're loving it for 4,400 here for Pulock. So
I still can't believe Brock Nelson's getting ownership at 6% or 6% ownership.
Is he really? Oh, I missed that. Wow.
That's nuts, man.
Yikes.
What kind of world are we living in? Senators have been pretty bad in terms of allowing chances. They are 4th worst in high danger chances allowed this year as a team, and 4th worst in scoring chances against. So I'm guessing Craig Anderson as well tonight.
He's going to see a volume. I mean, at least you would think so, right? So 6,900. I'm fine with it. I'm correlating my goalie tonight like I do on most bigger slates. I can't pick the $6,900 or $7,200 goalie that's going to stop 45 saves or 45 shots and lose. Yeah. So Gibson's priced way up, though, against the awful Wild. All right, let's go to the Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. Tuukka Rask, Carey Price in net, 3 implied total for both sides here. Boston played last night, broke another slate. Shocking. Here, I think it's a way tougher matchup, so we'll get into that in just a second. Do we see any changes on either side?
Yeah, it looks like the Habs are mixing it up a little bit. Lehkonen, Pooling, and Byron on the third line. Domi, Armia, Drouin, they were put together last game. And then the fourth line, Nate Thompson, Nick Cousins, and Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki on the power play 1. Though both of these power plays get a fair amount of time. Not expecting any changes for the Bruins tonight.
Fair enough. Especially after they eked out a win last night. Looked good for the first period, went up 3-0, then
Yeah,
blew the 3-goal lead, then came back after they were down 4-3 to win. And I
I
think they
saw
ended up,
Crosby was a -4 last night.
was he
It's just
really?
yeah,
Brutal. So
great
Boston
shot.
won. Yeah. So Boston won's incredible. There's no doubting that. But back to back, I still got to them before I try to factor in some of my own intuition when looking
Mhm.
at projections and stuff like that, and see like trying to
Yeah,
anticipate who's going to be popular. Um, and when I factored in Boston won, I still got to a bunch of them. So
yeah,
I didn't think I would. That's probably a bunch of like gross random filler lines that just allow it to be popular, like third lines and stuff.
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be at where the field's at on Boston. Um, it's a tough matchup against Dano, Tatar, and Gallagher. Not really a line I
Mhm.
want to target against, especially when they're fresh. And Boston is on the back-to-back, like I said, and priced way up here. What are they? They're 24-2. Is that right? Doing my math right here. 24-2 on the road on a back-to-back against, I think, a pretty good team and a pretty tough line in
Yeah.
Dano, Tatar, and Gallagher. So what I'm trying to say is I'm going to look to get underweight on Boston one here.
Yeah, that's fair. And like, yeah, I mean, Gallagher, Tatar in the top third on the lines on this slate in terms of scoring chances allowed, high danger chances allowed. So I'm right there with you. I might actually go. I might actually full fade tonight. So yeah, it's
Full
just
fade
kind of
Boston one you're
gross.
talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be closer to that than playing a
It's a
bunch
tough
of them.
game. Like it's a narrative street game, like you said. You got to put your own analysis on it. But
Mm.
back to backs, tough game. Coming off a game against Pittsburgh as well. Overachieving. I think that their shooting percentage as well is third highest in the league, and that'll probably regress a little bit by a couple points. So
Yeah. I'm actually more interested, like if I'm playing a line here, the one I'm getting to the most is actually Dano, Tatar, and Gallagher. Maybe you just hope that it's not a great matchup, but I think the price is good for them. And now I guess they're all on the second power play together. It looks like with Shea Weber, that's really probably the top power play.
yeah,
So that's good to see. And I just think they're too cheap, even though it is a tough 5-on-5 matchup. That's the line I'd rather take a chance at. And I think they're really low owned. Let me see here. Yeah, they're lower owned than Boston one and just crazy, crazy cheaper.
yeah, I like that call as well, and not going to get much ownership just because of the perception of the matchup, right? They're not going to grade out that well,
Right.
so I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Couturier, third in the league among forwards and expected goals for here. Wow, Max Domi fifth.
Is he really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Brendan Gallagher eighth.
I never get to Montreal 2. Like, whenever they're popular, I always miss out on the explosion game. I don't know that they've had one so far this year, but I actually
All
even
three
did.
of the Boston players in on ice shooting percentage. Brad Marchand's first, Bergeron fourth, and Pasternak 11. That's not to say they can't finish there. It's
Right.
just that at this point in the season, they're going to be outliers, right? And that's probably going to regress a little
Yeah,
bit,
that's fair.
probably by quite a few points. So
Yeah, I
on the
think
flip
that's fair.
side of that, it's like Timo Meyer, man, 3%.
We'll get to Timo Meyer. Don't you
We will
worry.
get to it. Sorry, I had to go on a little tangent there.
All right, I don't have much else to talk about here. I actually, just circling back, I did get to some Montreal 2, which is weird against Boston of all teams. But I think it's just because of the DK algorithm, prices lines down and players down against Boston no matter what. So that's why I sometimes get to teams against Boston, even though it usually doesn't feel comfortable, but the ownership's usually low as well.
Yep.
Ready to move it on?
Moving on.
All right, fun one here. Kings, Leafs, 2.7 implied total for the Kings, 3.9 for the Leafs. Jonathan Quick and Frederick Anderson in net here. $8,500 Frederick Anderson, $6,800 Quick. He's been a disaster this season. I don't see a ton of changes, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, well, just on the Toronto side, John Tavares is back. I'm sure people already know about that. Trevor Moore on that line with Mitch Marner. Matthews, Janssen, and Nylander line sticks together. Kerfoot moves down to the third line with Mikheyev and Kapanen. And Spezza's out, so it's Patan, Short, and Gauthier. I think everything's the same for the Kings as well. They have some new local lines. They have Lizotte and Toffoli and Kovalchuk as a second line as well. And this LA Kings line, actually kind of good, maybe?
Which one? The top one?
Top line? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the third line.
Yeah, I think the top line is pretty good. Maybe Kopitar is rejuvenating Carter a little bit. I think Carter had a number of surgeries in the offseason, if I'm not mistaken, too. So last season, the Kings were awful. There's no getting around that. But this year, they've been a little bit improved outside of, I think, a couple games where they've gotten blown up. The goaltending has really been their kryptonite so far. But I think offensively, they're going to be able to generate shots, as most teams do against the Leafs. So if I'm going to Kings tonight, and I think I am, it's probably going to be Kopitar, Grundstrom, and Carter, and just full stack it. I think no matter what Toronto does at 5-on-5 with their forward matching, if they choose to match Tavares against Kopitar and kind of free up the Matthews line, which is probably what I would do, then I think that's a fine matchup for the Kopitar line. And if they don't, then they go against Matthews, Johnson, and Nylander, and that's certainly a line that's going to trade some chances as well. So I think no matter what, it's going to be a pretty good matchup for Kopitar, Carter, and Grundstrom. Good value, low total, but a high total game, expected to have some pace. So I like LA1. What are you doing on the Toronto side here?
Yeah, I still like the Matthews, Nylander, Johnson line. I think they're priced down enough to get there. I think. I mean, Nylander's up a little bit, but I don't know. Actually, maybe not. Maybe it's too expensive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this one. Marner, I don't like more up on that top, up on that Tavares line. I just saw these prices right now, so that's a little bit much for Nylander and Johnson. So I don't know, man. What are you doing with this one?
Yeah, the numbers that I like to look at might like point you to Tavares, Marner, and Moore, just because Moore is cheap. If you like looking at like quality chances, Tavares and Marner are both up there. Whereas really on the Matthews line, it's Matthews carrying a lot of that, and he's 8,200. So you already get $1,000 of savings with Tavares. That being said, like I think Tavares is going to see more time against Kopitar, and the Matthews line could just go nuts against LA 2 and 3.
That's a good point. Like I think you're probably right in that, like Tavares versus Kopitar. So, and then like if you look at some of these other LA lines, they have not been nearly as good defensively.
Yeah. So what I'm planning to do right now is just kind of splitting exposure down the middle and hedging with Toronto. I think if I had one lineup, I would be more likely to get to the Matthews line. But if I'm just completely off on this, like you still have Tavares and Marner on the top power play. So it's not like they have to do everything at 5-on-5 against Kopitar if that's going to be the case. And just with how bad Quick and Campbell, if he gets in the game here, with how bad those guys have been, like I think there's merit into just power play stacking the Leafs as well, with Morgan Riley fair. At 6,500. That's
fair. I think like as well, this price is kind of more indicative of how good that Toronto 2 line or the Matthews line is. Like we've seen them price down all year, and they haven't really done anything, but they're still like in terms of shot chance generation, they're the best line on the slate, minimum like 50 minutes.
Yeah, so good. So I can't really say anything bad about the Matthews line here. They're just a tad bit expensive. There's just one line that I have above all the rest, which is making it difficult to talk about like really all these other lines because I like them, but there's one that the ownership isn't that different, and I think they're in a better spot. Maybe a couple other ones. So
I can't wait to find out what line that is. Is it possibly in a prairie province?
A prairie province? Is Winnipeg in the
prairie? Canada? Is it possibly our next game?
Is it Winnipeg?
Yeah.
It is Winnipeg. So we'll get there. You got anything else to wrap up Toronto?
No. I'm deferring to you on this one. I think that analysis is spot on. So I think one of the things you got to factor in here as well is just the LA goaltending, right? It's like that's going to be the X factor, even if the matchup's bad. Even if the LA skaters have been pretty solid numbers wise this season. It's just goaltending that's been awful. So you just kind of got to remember to factor that in. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I'm guilty of forgetting to factor in how bad goaltenders really affect these stats. So
yep, for sure. Tyson Barrie and Riley, both guys I'm targeting. Obviously, much different price points, but both guys I like for their price. All right, let's go to Devils and the Winnipeg Jets. 3.1 implied total for the Devils, 3.5 for the Jets. It's going to be Mackenzie Blackwood for the Devils, likely Connor Hellebuck for the Jets. I'm not sure if they play tomorrow. Maybe that's why we're waiting on confirmation. But anyways,
Yeah, I saw Daily Faceoff reaching out there, and they couldn't get anything. So I'm guessing we won't find out till before lock.
So I would just assume Hellebuck and then swap
Pivot.
down and the $200 or whatever that you would save from Brossois. What do you like here? And do we see anything new? I see one thing actually on the Devil side.
Yeah, so Hischier is up on the top line for the New Jersey Devils. He's priced down. I know Slim Cliffy wrote him up today in his article just because of that price point. It's really nice. I do like that top Devils line, though. I think they're probably going to get some ownership. Jack Hughes down with Pavel Zacha and Nikita Gusev returns to the lineup. Zajac centering Boqvist and Coleman. Jesper Bratt is out of the lineup. Wayne Simmons all the way down on the fourth line now, though he is on the top power play unit. Unfortunately, we do not have full power play correlation. It looks like Jack Hughes is going to remain on that top unit. And then on the Winnipeg Jets side, everything looks the same. Line returned to the lineup last game, so he's with Little and Ehlers. All the other lines are pretty close to the same. Pionk and Morrissey paired together, though they were split apart last game, but they looks like they're back together, and they are getting a fair amount of decent ice time. And my God, does it get bad after that for the Winnipeg Jets? So anytime Lucas Spiza is playing for you, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, well said. All right, this is my favorite game of the night. I love Winnipeg 1. Probably going to be my highest exposed line of the night. So the numbers aren't fantastic at 5-on-5, but they're just, I think everyone can see they're underpriced. Basically all I was waiting for on ownership projections was to see, all right, are they going to be 23% on an 11-game slate or 14, 15%? Because that would make a huge difference based on how I incorporate the ownership. So there's not a matchup I'm worried about for the Scheifele line. There's not the power play matchup, certainly not the power play matchup against the Devils, not the goaltender. I mean, if they go up against Hischier, Hall, and Palmieri, great. That's a line that will certainly allow you to get chances on them as well as taking their own. So I just think we're going to see a lot of pace, bad defense on the Jets side. So I love all of Winnipeg 1. That's my number one priority. And then Devils 1, in that next tier for me. And then I like Little, Ehlers, and Line. I'll full stack them quite a bit as well.
And then, speaking of bad goaltending, the Devils have the worst save percentage in the NHL this year. So that's another addition. I'm actually surprised to see that this line that Winnipeg doesn't have one of the highest totals. I expect them to be 3.8 or 3.9 expected goals forced or implied goals. I mean, they've actually gone down from when they opened. So that's a little bit surprising. But the price point on that line is just too good. And then I also like that second line has been pretty darn good lately, right? So, and then Brian Little, that cumulatively, that line's only going to be about 3 to 5% as well. So I do like going to Winnipeg 2 here as well.
Yeah. Yep. So there's three targets here, and I think you nailed them all. Certainly agree with all those. Hischier was doing well with I can't remember if it was Zacha and Gusev. I can't remember what the trio was, but anyways, they're broken up now, so there's not a super cheap depth line that matters for me on the Devil side. I think hopefully we're going to see concentrated scoring from both sides here. I think this one could get out of hand if we've got some whistle happy officials. Who knows? Even though that's not really something I look at all that often. I think this one, as much as any game on the slate, and I'm not saying anything crazy. It's a 6.5 total, but I think it's a great spot. As Corsi says, Jets 1 trap. So he's clearly not on this side.
Oh,
but I'm going with Morrissey. I'm going a lot of Jets here. So we'll see. I'm going against my dude, Corsi.
God, now I'm scared off it.
Vatanen, Subban. I mean, Subban's not on the top power play, 5,200. Yikes. But Vatanen's the guy I'll play, I guess, at 4,300 with a Devils 1 stack.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you worry at all that this Winnipeg team, the defense is just so bad that's kind of why we're not seeing them with their usual mind-blowing numbers this year, and it's just they can't get out of their own end?
It could be. I don't think Jets 1 had I don't think they've had great numbers historically. They're not the gaudy numbers that I'm trying to think, like some of the San Jose combos, like I remember Donskoy with Kane and Hurdle last year were insane for like a month and a half straight. Then there's a couple other lines, like they don't have the 20 high danger chances. I think Lee Eberle and Barzell or something like that last year. We were just throwing money away playing them every night.
They know how to bury the
but they're just good. Like like I said, I'm not the best eye for talent, but they just always look good when I watch them. It seems like, and maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see when I play them. But
no, I'm a sucker for this line too, man. So especially in spot like this at a price down point with not too much ownership. Do we have to get out of here at in 10 minutes?
I mean, they're streaming on another platform, but for people that want to get off, they're free to do so. Feel free to hit us with likes if you do appreciate the content. By the way, I always forget to ask for those. I'm supposed to ask for those because it does really help us for whatever reason. So just do it, please, if you do like the show. Makes me and Nolan look good for the bosses, and that's very important, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Avs, Stars, Philip Grubauer, Ben Bishop in net. We have a 2.5 implied total for the Avalanche, 2.9 for the Stars. What do we see here? Pretty gross, maybe gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. So like Colorado shuffled all their lines last game. So this is going to be, I might get to full, I think I'm going to probably cross them out and go full fade here. Like bad matchup, not a lot of talent in this lineup right now. Landeskog, Rantanen, the threat of switching lines and an elite defensive team in the Dallas Stars. So I'm probably going to be, I might X them out, but I doubt I'm going to get to much of them anyway, so it won't really matter. On the Dallas side, we have Rupe Hintz is out. So unfortunately, the one game of Sagan, Ben, and Radulov no longer together. Gurianov is up on the top line. Dickinson, Pavelski, Ben, Dowling, Perry, Yanmark, and then Faxa, Como, and Cogliano. Looks like two defensemen on the top power play as well. Esa Lindell, he's still underpriced. I haven't looked at him yet, but I was kind of forcing him into some lineups. Yeah, at 3,500 now he's up to 42. So he had 30 minutes last game. I mean, like his minutes are nuts, and I feel like the price was way low on him recently.
Yeah, I wish he would do something though, like to,
Well, so 3 shots and 4 block shots in each of his last 2 games. 28 and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. I guess he just wasn't coming up for me, but I'm gonna look at him. Maybe.
Yeah. No, he doesn't come up in the projections at all. Like I'm like literally taking guys out and putting him in because power play 1 plus 25 plus minutes. So
wow. Yeah. Looking at FC right now, they've got him for a new feature. They've got average time on ice. They've got him for like 23.5. So you bump him up a little bit, he's gonna look like a little bit better value.
But he is priced up now, so I don't know.
Klingberg, he hasn't done a thing this year. He's usually a guy at this price last year. I would just be playing all the Klingberg, and I still am getting to a bunch of him, and maybe that's more weighted towards last year's stats. But I don't know. I just feel like he hasn't been great. He's still getting the minutes though. He's seeing
Dallas as a team as well. Their shooting percentage has been awful this year. They rank in the bottom 3, I think, in the league at all strengths. So just keep that in mind. They're too good of a team. I'll bet they'll regress somewhere a little bit.
Positively regress, yeah. Especially with these new Avs lines. So good point about them not knowing it, like if they're going to stick together. I don't really know. But when I don't know, like I'm at least inclined to take a shot on some talent here. So you got Nathan McKinnon at relatively low ownership compared to some of the other studs on the slate. Donskoy very low, and then I doubt people are going to play Nieto very much either. Yeah, it looks like we don't have him projected very highly. So I'll take some shots on Colorado 1, or really you could just go McKinnon, Donskoy, and Kadri. Maybe that line gets put together if it's late in the game. They're all on the top power play together. Dallas is taking a bunch of penalties, so that's why I still am considering playing a bunch of McKinnon, Donskoy, and just throwing in Nieto and full stacking it. And then on the other side, Seguin, Radulov, and Gurianov. Gurianov scored a couple goals, I think, on Saturday. I'm kind of glad Ben's not on the top line. Otherwise, that would be a problem for me because then, Ben's at 4,500. He shouldn't be 4,500. But now that he's centered by Dickinson and playing with Pavelski, who's been pretty poor, I don't feel like I have to play a ton of him. So I guess you could power play stack either side. It's a low total game, and that's probably why we're seeing the ownership pretty low. But this is a game I still kind of like. and it's with the normal suspects, Sagan line and McKinnon line.
Yeah, I don't hate Gurionov as well. Like, he's still young, former first-round pick. He averaged almost a point a game in the AHL, I think, last year. So, not a terrible addition. I think like I could see him kind of being like half-point game player in the NHL this year. So, yeah, I feel like that's not a bad combo if it's not going to get a ton of ownership.
All right. Sam Girard on the list on the top power play. I'm fine playing him for 3,700 anyways. Just cheap for a team against a team that's taking a bunch of penalties in Dallas. Maybe not as many lately, but for the start of the year, so far been above average. And then Cale Makar bumped off the top unit, 4,600. Not really a guy I'm looking to play all that much. All right, let's go to Arizona and Calgary. 2.6 implied total for the Coyotes, 3 for the Flames. Antti Raanta, David Rittich in net. I don't think anything is crazy here. What do you see?
No, I think everything's the same. Yeah, I think so. Mangiapane's still up on that second line. He's been pretty good. I feel like he's like quietly a solid player. And then Frolik down on the fourth line. Not seeing anything for Arizona. Did Arizona play last night? Am I losing it?
They did. Yeah,
so watch line rushes, but I wouldn't expect. They really haven't been shuffling too much. There was just that one time where they moved stepping around. So
yeah, there's not anything I love necessarily on the Arizona side, anyways. So I never want to just cross the team off. There's always an ownership or a price where you can play someone.
But it's one of those things where like all these Arizona depth lines, you pair them at 1% ownership with a really high priced smashed line and a smashed slot, and I don't really think we have that on this slate. To the point of like Boston won in an ideal matchup, or Colorado won in an ideal matchup, right?
Right, exactly. 100% agreed. So here, not getting a ton. I have some interest in the Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm line. They haven't done a ton this year, but I don't really have a reason why they shouldn't be like generating a lot of chances and stuff like that. They usually get the softer matchup at 5-on-5 at home.
They got the stink on them this year, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we need to get off now, just like Dallas last year. If we instead of riding Dallas one all year, waiting for the breakout, let's just get off the Calgary train.
I mean, I'm not really on them. I got 3% of them. So
I know. I have bias towards them for whatever reason. I just love playing Calgary one, but they're not going to get owned tonight. Arizona number 1 in fantasy points allowed to like wingers and like number 2 in centers or something like that. So like that alone will lower ownership.
And like Arizona, I think they're just good. Like so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're just like, I don't know what's going on over there, but they're just, like just so well put together in like a way that a lot of people don't understand. I think it's because like Cheka has its own analytics formula that he doesn't share with anyone, and that probably factors in defense a lot more than we would like to think, and that means that or than a lot of analytics models do, and that means that they're a very solid defensive team.
Yeah. So, I mean, just secondary plays, if anything, for me here. I got to a couple step-on shares just because they're cheap. I would imagine when I click on this that it is Boston 1, and two of them are Boston 1, and then a Winnipeg 1. So they're nothing but a filler stack. I guess if you wanted to bet on some talent with Calgary 1, that'd be an okay play. But Arizona, not a team I'm going to be attacking heavily very often this season.
Back-to-back road games, I guess, but yeah, not super exciting.
Geo 5,800, too cheap, right?
Yeah, I know, so cheap. I'm immediately tried to slot him in my very first lineup. So as well, we should mention that Calgary one's ice time really hasn't been all that high recently. They have been on the road, so it's really tough to kind of gauge that coming back home. But down to like 16 minutes last game for Monahan, so just I don't know, just feels like they got a weird vibe to them this year. Yeah,
like they suck or something. I don't even know what the record is. They could be above 500. I have no idea. Let's go Blues.
They're pretty close, but
let's go Blues and Canucks. I mean, everyone's 500 in the NHL, isn't that the thing?
Exactly.
Blues and Canucks, 2.8 implied total for the Blues, 3.1 for the Canucks. Binnington, Markstrom, neither confirmed. So obviously check. You'll know at about 9:30 Eastern. What do we got here?
I thought Markstrom in, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
So we got Robert Thomas on the top Blues line, but just be aware they've been shuffling that third winger around on that line. Sammy Blais played up there for half of the ice time last time, so I would not full stack St. Louis one. Not that you were probably planning on doing that anyways. On the Vancouver side of things, Quinn Hughes is still listed, or at least he was when we came on here. He was still listed as day to day on Draftkings and Fanduel, and he's expected to play tonight. He's back on daily faceoff, or sorry, daily faceoff didn't have him either, but now he's back on. So Sontner comes out of the lineup. Looks like everything stays the same in terms of the forward groupings for Vancouver. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. This Vancouver team is gonna cost me so much money, one way or the other. Like,
just because of their ownership, like you're plugging them in. Is that what you mean?
I feel like so this is one where, I feel like I have to have some of them, like Vegas, right? They've been so good at 5-on-5. They have perfect correlation. The Blues have been pretty bad. That hasn't been talked about. I don't think.
Nope.
Like
people are thinking of them as like this great defensive team and like the team that won the Stanley Cup, and like the numbers aren't bearing that out so far this year. They're like top 10 in scoring chances allowed, I think, and high danger chances allowed, and now they've lost Tarasenko. So
so I mean, I don't think they're a team you can't attack here, and just kind of a middling total here for Vancouver, 3.1. The ownership's going to be really low on a line that's, I mean, just been really, really, really solid at 5-on-5. They're priced down a little bit. JT Miller down to 6,400, Besser under 7K. So they're going to grade out as a pretty terrible value. I understand that. But if you can jam in maybe a cheap filler stack like Columbus 3, or you like a couple one-offs that are super cheap, I think that they're okay to play at that ownership. So I was expecting to see like 5% ownership or something, 6%, and being like a top 10 owned line, and I would just have gotten off of them and just said, okay, they're overpriced and going to be a little bit overowned, but I think they're probably going to be a little bit underowned relative to what their chances of actually being the top stack are. If we're just looking at it from like a top stack tool perspective, like Alex does with other sports.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just looking. I was like, oh my God, these Blue stats are amazing. They're like one of the best teams in the league. And I had the wrong year. I had last year.
Yeah, last year they were insane for like basically like the whole season, especially the second half. But like you kind of see it coming. And this year they've been bad. So
yeah, sure. I'm right there with you. Like I'm a believer in this Vancouver one line, and we've seen the price go from like 5,000 to like 7,000 per player. It's been a huge jump, but they're not getting ownership, and they're not going to get ownership tonight. And like I've been playing them in GPPs at like 1% ownership, and like, they were not bad the other night. Like when at 1%, where was it? Was it the San Jose game? I can't remember what. It was the San Jose game where I think they had like two goals and Vancouver won 5-2, and they were all at 1% ownership just because they were so pricey and everyone wanted to play. I don't know. I think it was Boston won or something. So same kind of deal tonight. Like people aren't used to paying this price for them, and they're going to be underowned as a result.
Someone asked favorite punt D. I think a couple options. Flat min, Dylan DeMello at 2,500, just playing around 20 minutes per game. I don't expect the world from him, but
Simic as well as backup, or is playing in his NHL debut, and he's paired with Brent Burns.
And then Sandheim as well. Got to mention him.
What about Gooley? Is Gooley playing?
Is he? I don't know. We'll get to him next. Let's see. Do we have him listed? I don't have him listed here, but I'll
Noah Dobson too, maybe $2,800.
Yeah.
Mark Edward Vlasic.
There's some options for sure. Not a bad day for punt defensemen.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Wild and the Ducks. Couple more games, then we'll get out of here. 2.6 implied total for the Wild, 2.8 for the Ducks. Alex Stalock getting the call for the Wild, and then John Gibson probably going for the Ducks. Not confirmed yet. Brutal game here, right?
Yeah, good. Branson's on the top pairing, so that should be fun. But at least he's got Hampus Lindholm with him.
Yeah.
Looks like all these lines are the same, except Andre Kasha is back for the Ducks, so that should be an upgrade for them for that top line. Everything else so Comtois moves down with Steele and Terry, and then who was on that line before? I'm drawing a blank. Steele, Terry, and I don't know. Anyway, they're not in the lineup anymore, whoever it was. So there you go. Hard-hitting analysis right here.
Steele, Terry, and wait. Oh, wait. We are getting Kasha back tonight? I'm just seeing this now. Okay.
Yeah. Wait. What did you see?
No. I'm just seeing this now. Like
Oh
I was
yeah.
running crunch.
Yeah,
You know how on a big slate when you're just like when I do
yeah.
projections, I oftentimes don't like. I'm not like looking at each individual player, so I'm just like running random 3-3 crunches just and seeing what I get at
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
So like I haven't really dug into the Ducks, but maybe this game isn't so bad if Kosh is back.
I
And
mean, it's not great though, because like it was who was it? Devin Shore? God, it's bugging me. Anyways, yeah, like Minnesota have been really good defensively though. So
fair. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. I'm good.
I mean, I'm not crazy excited about this game either. But if Kosh is back, I do
Well,
like the.
how much do you think Ryan Getzlaff is?
Yeah, I saw that too. I don't know where
What
that
is
price is coming
happening?
from.
Is the pricing guy drunk? Oh my god.
Yeah, weird, just random, right? Like he was like 5K a couple
I
slates
guess
ago.
he's averaging 10 DK points. I mean, man, he's killing it.
Is he really?
Never mind, I take it back. He has goals in 4 of his last 6 games, and he has a minimum of 11 DK points in every game since October 22nd. So
Well, there you go.
maybe we're back to the Ryan Getzlaff of old here.
Yeah. So I had Troy Terry in, and that's going to change some things. So I am going to get actually a decent amount of Ducks one. It was just staring me in the face. I just like that line together. I think they have pretty good numbers when they are together. Kasha with Getzlaff and Nick Ritchie, good price on
It's
Kasha,
supposed
especially.
to offset the cost
Yeah,
as well. So
exactly.
It makes it,
So if you just look at Getzlaff's price, it's disgusting, but not really a guy I'd want to one off anyways.
yeah.
Even though he has performed well. I don't really have much of anything on Minnesota. They're dirt cheap. I get it, but
Full faith for me. I'm good.
Fiala's 2,900. He just shouldn't be 2,900. Like he scored a goal last game. He's on the power play now, or at least listed there. He's good on the power play as well. Like that's part of the reason the Wild got him. And he's
Also, like one thing I noticed as well with the Wild is that Sutter and Spurgeon are just getting a ton of ice time right now. So I'm kind of downgrading Dumba, even though I was super high on him. And like Sutter and Spurgeon just don't seem to do anything, especially Sutter with all that ice time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, fair enough. He'll have his blow up, like his 3 assist game every once in a while, but I usually miss out on those. I don't know where I'm at on Dumba. I'm still kind of a believer in him, but maybe it might take an injury to one of Suter or Spurgeon for him to like be getting the 25, 26 minutes that we were accustomed to seeing last year.
Yeah.
So we will see. But nothing crazy on this game. I don't really like any of the Ducks defensemen. Mahura, Fowler, 2 guys in the power play. I'll just play Anaheim one.
Yeah, I can get by without this one.
You're probably going to be okay more times than not. Blackhawks and Sharks, 2.8 implied total for the Blackhawks, 3.7 for the Sharks. Robin Leonard and Martin Jones in net. Corsi says the slate doesn't start till 10 p.m. Eastern, and I think he's got a sneaky suspicion on this game. So what do we see here? Anything different?
He's super excited about the Ducks, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I think Ducks Wild. He's going like Wild 3, Ducks 1, something like that.
I'm gonna make a note.
The nuts. What do we got here?
Barclay Goodrow up on the I guess second line. I'm like totally out to lunch here. I didn't see this earlier. Logan Couture with Evander Kane and Kevin Labanc. Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
All right, so I'm blind. Thomas Hertl, Timo Meyer, and Barclay Goodrow. And Marlowe's been moved down to the third line with Sorensen and Thornton. Melker Karlsson has an injury. He's out. Simic draws back in. First game of the season, I think, pairing with Brent Burns. Brent Burns not listed on the top power play unit, but has been getting more power play ice time than any other defenseman on the team. So just be aware of that.
All right. Let's see.
I don't think anything for the Chicago side. I didn't see anything. Same weird lines.
Yeah, Strome, DeBrincat, Kane, Taze with Nylander and Saad. So, there's going to be a couple targets here. This game, I'm worried about it because I like it. But like I mentioned with Winnipeg 1, the other game, I kind of like the other game a little bit more. And I think we're just going to see a lot of ownership on this game. So I don't know how big of an edge it is, at least for me being an MME player and there being so many different combinations. So if you're like more of a single entry player, I certainly get just loading up on one side of this game or both sides of this game. Like you've got Martin Jones on one side, and then the Blackhawks are just atrocious on defense. So it's really going to be whether or not Leonard can stand on his head. I like both Sharks lines, and it's hard for me to like make a call. It's always tough when the Sharks are chalk because usually the top two lines are because they're pretty balanced, and you've got a really good value in Timo Meier at 4,700 on the second line with Hurdle. That seems like a pretty fun combo. And then Evander Kane, who's just awesome. Couture underpriced, LeBanc underpriced. That line has full power play correlation, so you get why that is going to be popular as well. The Sharks don't really hard match or anything like that, so you can't really get like clarity there. And then on the Hawks side, it's really just Strome, DeBrincat, and Kane. So all these are great plays. I think if I had to choose one, I'm probably going Hurdle, Meyer, and Goodrow, or just leave off Barkley, Goodrow. But he has min salary. I don't know. Maybe that's a fish play to leave him on, but I plan on just kind of letting it ride there and hoping that Timo and Hurdle can carry him a little bit. I think I'm going to be underweight on San Jose 1 and probably Hawks 2, which is really scary with this being the last game of the night.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's tough because, the ownership's pretty smart as per usual. Couture is going to be the highest owned center on the slate. Hurdle's not too far behind. So, I guess the X factor could be maybe that maybe Robin Leonard in net, who's been pretty solid of late, really. He's had in 3 of his last 4 games, he's been, in 3 of his last 3 games, he's had like a 940 plus save percentage. So that might be one reason to get off if you're looking for a reason. But the price points and the ownership and the Chicago Blackhawks' general defensive woes are a pretty good reason to play them. And then on the flip side, I was hoping Chicago 2 might fly a little bit under the radar, but it does not look like that's going to happen too much, though. The ownership isn't insane, but it's also not great either. But then you have like almost the flip side of the story where it's like now the Sharks are pretty decent, but they have terrible goaltending. So
yeah, man, this is not going to be a fun one to sweat if I've got good lineups before this game.
No, right? I'm just
looking to have shares, and I right now Carlson and Burns are actually my 2 highest owned defensemen, but I have to find a way to get a little bit more exposure because right now I'm mostly just getting the Hurdle line, and we'll see. I need to get some Couture, LeBanc, and Kane in my life. Like that seems like a really good line.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a weird slate, man, because you're right. Like, of course he's right. Like, it starts at 10 Eastern. Like, that's it. You're not gonna. If you're winning, you're probably not gonna be winning at the end of that game.
Yeah, fair. All right. Are we good on this game and this slate? I think we are.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I don't know. Find some low-owned players. Van 1 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, don't go crazy on ownership. Like if you love Winnipeg 1 like I do, if you love San Jose or Chicago 1, don't let us talk you off because of ownership. It's pretty spread around with one player being over 20% owned tonight, that being a defenseman in Brent Burns. So I wouldn't worry about it too much if you're talking about DraftKings. Go play over on Yahoo. Use promo code OSMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. When you do, if you want more info on that, check out Emacs Primetime NFL articles. Second, third paragraph, somewhere in there, you can find more info on that. Get the free stuff for today. Nolan's line change article is free. Let's see. Let me post this in chat. So feel free to check this out. If you want more free stuff, I wrote this article using MLB DFS strategy to play NHL DFS if you're looking to transition over. This is a free article that just dropped today. And then along with that, we do have an NHL free week promo code. The promo code is actually NHL free week, no spaces. That gets you a free 7-day trial of the NHL Weekly or the Weekly Express Osmo Plus package. So don't try to use that on the year-long package. It will not work. You won't get billed for 7 days. You can cancel whenever you want. But I think you're going to stick around for the Slack chat projections, ownership projections for DraftKings, and Nolan's line change article. So I think hopefully we can hook you in there. And it is a pretty good community in Slack. People do a lot of good work helping each other and making sure we're on the right combos and stuff in that crucial 6:30 to 7 Eastern time slot where a lot of the money can be made. So thanks for joining, and I think it'll just be me tomorrow. Short slate, right? Do you know?
Is it? What's the slate at?
I think it's like 3 games or 2 games or something like that.
Yeah. It's gonna
Either way, there will be a show. If it's a short slate, it will
Two.
be just
Two gamer.
Oh yeah, but 2 gamers, my jam right there. We'll be talking over some 2-game slate strategy and hopefully breaking down some big wins from our subscribers and the people that watch on YouTube, and maybe even me and you, Nolan. So good luck tonight, guys.
I like it.